Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw for week 23, another 7 curious things I saw last week. So as ever, if you do want any consultancy, any AI workshops for instance, then do let me know. It is what I do. I'm on LinkedIn. Decoding dog barks is the first thing. This is from the University of Michigan, and they have made a bit of a breakthrough in potentially chatting to your dogs and or pets of the future. So they've taken a human classification speech model and a dog bark classification model, and by joining human and dog, they've got a far more accurate result. So they've taken the 16 classifications of dog noise, I guess that's what they've called it, context. So therefore, if your dog is making a noise, it should be in this list, hopefully, and it's more accurate. So they can tell you using the system the breed and emotion of your dog with 62% accuracy and the gender of your dog with 69% accuracy. So if you don't know the gender of your dog, then you can use this to give you a bit of a clue. So a bit weird, but there you go. But it does show that it is more accurate than essentially the 50% that you would have said 50-50, which is good. So yeah, this is Matlock on the left, the ginger one, and that is Ripley, the black one. Those are our dogs. There you go. Physical World of Tanks 2 simulator. So I've seen a bunch of these and I want to see some more, but this is, as I say, World of Tanks 2, and it's augmented the game with this kind of sim rig. Sorry about the blank spot there, it's in the video. So this is by Red Deer Blyat, who is a Bilibili user in China, it's a video network, and as you can see, using VW steering wheel, using this great loader here, so you can load the cartridges, aka plastic bottles, into the turret, and this is obviously using an old Quest headset, and if you want to then move the turret around up and down, you can use these two little wheels, the horizontal and the vertical one, which I think is amazing. Seems like it needs a little bit of work, and then the big red button to fire it. Here's the magazine behind it. Love all of this, even the little smoke coming out. I guess that's compressed air that's just it's got some vapor in it. So I love all of that. I want to see more. If you do know any of these, then please put them in the comments below. I just think that's brilliant. More of these, please. Carry on the good work. This is the IA, however you're supposed to say that. I haven't really figured it out yet, but this is my Spare Parts 3D, and their quest is to keep the machines of the world working by basically not letting them be thrown out because of the lack of a spare part. So if you want to create a spare part, you can send it to them and they will then create it in metal. If you only have the schematics, maybe you have the original diagrams of your machine, you send them the schematics, and their new system will read the diagram, read all the dimensions, and turn it into an actual 3D printable model. They will then print it for you and send it you in the post. So there you go. If you do have any of this, and this kind of rings one of my bells because this is what I did when I was at school. I wanted to be somebody who drafted these diagrams. My, how far I have come. There you go. This is Kling AI, and this is maybe the new pretender to the OpenAI Sora crown of video generation. It's a very strange way of saying it's a new AI video model. So this is an advert, as you can see, potential advert. This model can actually create 2 minutes of video at 30 frames a second, and the Sora model can only do 1 minute, so it's already better there. Has it got much better results? This is obviously a play at the Will Smith eating spaghetti a meme, I guess. But you look at these, if you look very carefully, if you look at this video a few times, you start to notice things move through things and there's wobbly bits all over the place. So I'm not sure it's as good or even better than it might be as good. But you know, the words, for instance, are all moving about and they're all going vertical and horizontal. So it's okay. If you do want to play with this, it is available on beta. However, there are a few drawbacks. One is you need the Quaying app, which is obviously available on iOS and Android. However, you do need a Chinese mobile number to register it. You also need to be able to speak Chinese because the interface is in Chinese. However, there you go. As I say, the stars are all moving about all over the place, but it's a new model. Might be more interesting. Who knows? Taj Mahal T, so obviously the forefront of innovation. Not sure this is innovation as such, but it's just really cool. So this machine plays music when it rains, and the whole point is it's playing the symphony to the rain. It's playing the raga, which is the music of the rain. And it uses this recreation of a Santoor, which is the big sort of musical instrument, the stringed instrument that you hear in India, and it's just really neat. Obviously, to grow tea you need rain, and therefore to celebrate that, then they've created this. It's ginormous, it's won a world record. Who doesn't like that? Just thought that was really neat and good. Chip-based 3D printers with no moving parts. I will talk about this because it took me ages to figure out what's actually going on. There are two types of 3D printer. They're essentially additive printers. printing, and each one of them is printed in layers. So like the one behind me, which is obviously plastic printer, and the bed moves, or the print head moves up layer by layer, it prints. Or you have one that uses optics and resin. Essentially you have something like an iPad underneath a bunch of resin, and it solidifies the resin, but the resin moves up or whatever. So this one is different. This does not have any moving parts. So it took me ages to figure out what was going on, as I said. So it uses a solid state chip. As you can see, this thing's quite small at the moment, but it uses silicon photonics to create holograms. So into that chip, you squeeze a laser, you shine a laser in there, and it uses silicon photonics, which is steering the silicon to then steer the light points of the laser. So what you can do, squirt in a laser and it creates a hologram. If you put this chip underneath the same resin as those resin printers use, it can then solidify a model in that resin with no moving parts. It does it essentially instantly without things going on. So for instance, in the future, if you forget your keys, as one example is given, you can then just essentially bring out this thing, stick some resin in a bottle on top of it, tell it to print something, and that thing will then appear in that liquid with no moving parts, which I think is really interesting. So it's only a demonstration by MIT and the University of Austin at the moment, but that would be amazing if we can get that sorted. Very good. Now, I've just been to Hong Kong for a week and I stumbled across the Hong Kong Science Fair, and I do want to talk about it. So this is for school children. Science fairs happen all over the world, but there were some really, really interesting and intriguing things that they were trying to solve. So I just thought, these are the winners, by the way. The one in the bottom right is just my personal favorite. I will talk about them. But we've got, for instance, we've got a helmet for myopic sightedness in eyesight. We got a smart sort of flooding device that makes a gate go up in tube stations and whatnot. Really interesting thing for recording memories for blind people, where they can play them back. They can both feel them and hear them. We've got a subject helper to help people essentially mark their work, and a trouser changer for the elderly, which I think is great as well. So it's you step into it a little bit like Wallace and Gromit, with the sort of clothing thing in the morning. And the one I didn't actually win an award, but I thought was really good, was the smart homeless dog thing, which if there's a flood in a dog home, then the dogs might drown. So this thing detects it. The dogs can get in these little dinghies and their legs go through the bottom of it. And I think it even raises the dog bowls out of the way and it opens the gate automatically. So if you do want to get some dogs out of the pound, then just cause a flood, and this might be your thing. But do download there's like a flipping book where you can go online and have a look at all of the entrants. They're really, really good. Just the passion in all of these as well, and the things they're trying to solve is remarkable. Thought that was amazing. Well done. If that was interesting, send it to somebody interesting. Other than that, I'll see you next week. And right, I've just landed from Hong Kong, so I'm going to go for a sleep. See you next week.